All right, welcome to Undrafted Hockey Fan. I am Brad. Today we are going to be just going ham. We're going to be knocking out some trade rumors, some coach signings potentially, what people think they're worth, what I think they're worth, which I think they're wrong in some cases. So we're just gonna rip through a bunch of information and signings because I think it's gonna be a good time because it's just speculation and like it kind of brings the drama, right? Because that's where I'm like, you think you'd pay Tavares this? Like it's crazy. So actually, we're gonna start off with the signing real quick. Again, we're gonna be bouncing all around because it's just gonna have fun. We're gonna keep it loose and then keep it good and keep the energy good. I did run, so if I cough, I apologize. I'm a little tired. I went for a 3.5 mile run before doing this video. That's probably not the smartest idea. We'll plan to not do that in the future. So we're starting off with Mikko Rantanen. His camp and his agent thinks that they can get $14 million for him, which is crazy. But again, you're looking at a guy who has been one of a top player in the league right now. He's 34 points in 25 games. That's 1.36 points per game. If you're doing the math, let's do the math quick and see what that comes out to. So we have, again, 34 points in 25 games. So what you do is you do 34 points divided by 25 games times, which is the 1.36, times 82. It's 111 points, which is crazy. And you know who someone who just got a $14 million contract is Leon Draisaitl. And by the way, he's $14 million for next year, right? So like if Rantanen is a UFA, which he is, he's UFA. Yeah, because his last year of his contract. Yeah, it's his last year of a contract. So he's 28. If Draisaitl can get $14 million, I think Rantanen can get something similar as well. Because you're looking at a guy who has been over a point per game since 2017, 2018. His official, like he had 9 games per first season, 38 points in 75 games, and then he's been a point per game since then, since 17, 18. So 84 points in 81, 87, 74. Oh, no, I lied. He had 41 points in 42 games during the COVID season, a shortened COVID season, 66 and 52. 92 and 75, 105 and 82, 104 and 82, 80. These last 2 years, he's hit over 100 points. And this year so far, he's got 34 points in 25 games, and he's on a better pace than he was last year. Again, he scored 55 goals. He scored 40 goals as well. So this guy, I mean, I think it's a little rich. To me, it's a little rich because you're looking at a guy like Leon Draisaitl. I think to me, McKinnon's the cap, right? So I think right now, if you look at Rantanen right now, looking at his current contract, and I think he's sitting at 9.25. So 9.25 is a good amount. In my opinion, I think he comes because of some of the way that a lot of these teams are doing it, they're calling them internal caps. And you win a Stanley Cup with Nathan McKinnon. And Nathan McKinnon, I'm very sure makes $12.6 million because he makes, $12.6 million, which by the way is just a little to Connor McDavid because Connor McDavid makes 12.5. So Nathan McKinnon's like, hey, just a little bit over, just to show him what's up. And I think that would make a lot more sense for him to make 12.5, which is reasonable. It's definitely a pay raise. I mean, like I said, he's making 9.25 right now. He probably could make 14. But I think it would be more reasonable to set him at 12.5. Say, hey, McKinnon's going to be our captain eventually. You're going to be right there next to him. I think that makes sense. Or maybe you pay him the same amount as McKinnon to show him like, hey, this is the new wave. These is the new guys. So that would make us a lot of sense in that case because you're like, hey, these are our leaders and everything. So I definitely think that is a possibility of. I mean, that makes a ton of sense to me. And let me know what your thoughts are on that, by the way. Because let me know in the comments. Sound off. Let me know if I'm acting crazy because I can act a little crazy. It's just a little bit sometimes. By the way, if you haven't already, the reason, if you look at the title, it says day 17 to 45 because we are doing a podcast a day every day until the end of the year. We posted one on Thanksgiving. We posted one on Black Friday. Today, Cyber Monday. We posted one today. We're going to be doing Christmas Eve. We're going to be Christmas Day. We're going to be doing New Year's Eve. Like we're going to be on top of this every day of the year for the rest of the year. So make sure you hit like, subscribe, put your favorite comment down below. And again, if you comment down below and you say, hey, this is what I want you to talk about, your boy, I'll talk about it. I'll shout you out. Let's go. Bring it on. If you're listening, I'll show you the love. I'll show you the love. Don't you worry. So again, I think it's a little rich, $14 million. But again, that kind of makes sense because Rantanen's camp is going to be like, hey, like, does Hey, Seattle, do you want to pay $14 million? Columbus, do you want to pay $14 million? Right? Like, so like the idea is that he could make more money. And mind you, if you got an 8-year deal, let's say $14 million over 8 years, instead of 12 and a half, let's just make it easy round numbers. That's $1.5 million per year he's missing times 8, which is $12 million he'd be missing out on that he's not going to get back. So you have to consider that like he might walk because he wants to make money. He's already got a Stanley Cup championship. He might be like, hey, I did it already. I climbed the mountain. I'm good. And go to freaking, I was gonna say Nashville, but never mind. Nashville is hurting right now. But you go to a team like a Columbus. I don't think Winnipeg would pay that much. Maybe like a Seattle would actually kind of be what kind of work there. Maybe like an Anaheim. Like if Anaheim wants to pay him $14 million, he can pay a lot in taxes. But again, he can decide, hey, like maybe I want to be in sunny weather instead of Colorado where it snows, right? So that's just an option, especially with way San Jose is doing some stuff. Imagine they sign Rantanen. Maybe not San Jose. Oh, like the Islanders. If the Islanders did that, that'd be crazy. But that's the idea around that with the free agency. Again, people are just getting nuts and crazy, and I love that, by the way. Another one is the New York Rangers have recently inquired about the availability of JT Compher, which I think is really interesting because you're looking at JT Compher. JT Miller. I apologize. That is, I'm in Red Wings mode right now. And so JT Compher, if you haven't heard, is currently on a leave of absence. A little bit for his mental health, looking to just kind of take a step back. And that's totally okay. We're totally okay with guys taking time off. Indefinite reasons. He says he's just taking time off. This was back on December. It doesn't say when it happened, but he's expected to return is December 3rd. So we'll see if that ends up happening. JT Miller makes $8 million a year and has a full no movement clause until, let's see. Come on. Where are you at? Okay. 2030. Jesus. Oh no, he has a full no movement until 2016, 2026, 2027. And then it goes to a 15-team no trade clause in 27, 28. So I don't know why they want to move him. And I guess I could, the one reason I could see wanting to move JT Miller, because the thing is, they look really good right now. I mean, if you look at the standings right now, Vancouver, I'm pulling up the standings. I'm gonna make a refresh. I had the standings up, but I want to make a refresh just to make sure I got all the information right. Vancouver is killing by the way, third in the Pacific, and it's a tight race with them. And by points percentage, they're leading. They're 6-4 in their last 10. +2 goal differential. I mean, they're doing okay right now. Okay, I mean they're away. Oh yeah, they're away. Yeah, they have Lankinen, who has the best consecutive road wins, most consecutive road wins by a team ever. Like it's 10, so which is amazing. And they're away, they're 10-2. At home, they're 3-5-3. That's less good. You want to definitely be winning at home in front of your fans, especially with you have home advantage. But that is an interesting one. I wonder what the Rangers could send back that they would want. Like maybe you send back a Zibanejad. They do a Zibanejad for JT Miller. Like that would be crazy. By the way, I would lose my mind because the thing is JT Miller is your center, right? So you have JT Miller playing as your center. You send over Zibanejad. Maybe both guys just need like a change of scenery, right? So now you have a top line center for a top line center, and that may work. So you have like could Vancouver even keep that? So he makes $8 million right now. Ironically, JT Miller was drafted by the New York Rangers, 15th overall, and I just saw that. It's hilarious. In 2011, so Vancouver Canucks currently have $800,000. I don't know if they can make that work. So if we go to the Rangers, again, Zibanejad. So you have, if you move off JT Miller, you have $8.8 million, right? So you go to the New York Rangers, pulling them up real quick on Puckpedia. By the way, if you don't use Puckpedia, it's phenomenal. They also have about $800,000 left. And if you did Zibanejad, he makes $8,500,000. Dude, whoa, that'd be crazy. Dude, if you just did a full-blown swap, and then maybe like I think Rangers, because Zibanejad makes a little bit more money, like you'd have to like pay a little bit more. But that would be crazy. That'd be so nuts. I would love that. Currently JT Miller has 16 points in 17 games. Zibanejad has 17 points in 20 games, so he's doing less productive. So let's say you did like Zibanejad, and Zibanejad makes less for longer. Currently, he's a 3C. Get out of here. That's crazy. He's playing as a 3C. He plays the same amount of time, or it's going to be the same amount of time. No way is he 3C. Who do the Rangers have on depth then? That's so stupid. No, you're lying. Don't tell me that Puckpedia has him as a 3C. Because who are you going to have down there? Cheadle, Trocheck, and then Zibanejad? You are crazy. You're crazy. You're going to put Cheadle at top. I mean, he's playing really well. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, you have Zibanejad. Like, I know he's slipping a little bit. Yeah, Cheadle has 9 points in 16 games. Okay, get out of town. He is not a 1C yet. I mean, if he was, eventually he could be, right? But I'm just saying not yet. So I guess maybe they're just trying to do something to get Zibanejad going, maybe get him against some easier competition, maybe. But that would be an interesting 1-for-1 swap. So what are your thoughts on a JT Miller, Mika Zibanejad 1-for-1 swap? Again, maybe there's some picks thrown in. Maybe you throw like the Rangers throw in like a 3rd-round pick or something like that. Like, because you got to make the money work. But the money would work actually. Like, according to this, they would actually work. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. I really appreciate it. So, well, again, along with Zibanejad, they're actually looking at, again, moving at Kreider and Trouba. We did talk about that. Some people that they think they can move. Kreider to New York Islanders would be crazy because they're always looking for scoring. I think they'd be great there. You have to shave. And Trouba, by the way, they both have 15 team no trade clauses. So with that, you have to consider like, what do you like? Who's not going to be on that? We know Trouba already blocked Detroit already because he didn't want to get traded there. Well, he wants. I imagine he might want to go there eventually, but under his current contract, like he still wants his wife to finish her medical degree. I think she's becoming a doctor. So he's like, hey, I want to stay in New York. She wants to finish it here, and then maybe after that, which is at the end of this year, of course, right? So there is a rumor. I just saw it. Let me pull it up real quick because this one's a little bit more crazy that I saw. It said something about Trouba or Arthur Staple wonders if the Rangers may strip Jacob Trouba of his captaincy mid-season, which is wild. That is some wild stuff right there. I don't know if that would happen mid-season. I would say mid-season. I don't know if that would happen because that seems a little like, hey, the franchise is in flux right now. And also, like, who do you give it to? I mean, who do you give it to? So maybe Adam Fox, because he's going to be there long term. You do like Adam Fox. Lafreniere is not there yet. You're trading Kreider. You're trading Zibanejad. You're not giving it to Kako. You don't know if you want Lindgren. You don't know if you want Condre Miller. You want to keep Schneider. It's Adam Fox. So what do you think? What do you guys think about Adam Fox becoming the next captain of the New York Rangers? If they mind you, if they do a Zibanejad for JT Miller swap, I could see them potentially stripping Trouba with captaincy, and then getting JT Miller maybe at the end. But I think it's going to be Adam Fox in my opinion. He's tenured enough. He's been there long enough. He's got a long enough contract. He's going to be there till he's 31. So that would kind of make a ton of sense there. He's really one of the more established guys on the team. Again, you can't give it to a goalie. You're not going to give it to. Yeah, it's going to be that. Again, maybe Lafreniere gets it later. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how much of a leader he is. He's starting to have a good breakout season. Who do you think should deserve the New York Rangers captaincy? Lafreniere is 17 points in 23 games. Yeah, he's not there yet, but he's getting there. So he's starting to look pretty good. So another one is talking about the Detroit Red Wings. The Red Wings are currently in flux right now. In their last 3, they're 1-1-1. It's completely frustrating. They have a win over the Islanders. They have a loss to the Devils at 5-4, and then they on Friday and Sunday they lose to the Vancouver Canucks in overtime 5-4. Jake DeBrusk gets a hat trick. I was there. It was very disheartening. It was a very big bummer. But that's what happens when you're 32nd, when you have a historically low penalty kill. So what they're looking to do with the shakeup with the Red Wings is they're looking at coaches, and they're like, hey, who do we need to bring in here for a long-term coach? To me, I've talked about this a ton of times. You're not going to just fire Lalonde without bringing someone in from the outside. So who's available? You have Gerard Gallant is available. You have Jay Woodcroft, who, Gerard Gallant, who recently coached the New York Rangers, who won a President's Trophy with them. You have Jay Woodcroft, who looked really good with the Oilers at one point, but again, he gets let go. Looks like a good young coach, but I think they're not willing to take another young coach. They want someone established. And currently, Greg Wyshynski, writer for the Athletic, I believe, believes that Joel Quenneville has been linked to the Detroit Red Wings head coaching position. Now, mind you, he was a coach in Chicago, and he was a coach for about I think it was around 20 games ish or less for the Florida Panthers before they had Andrew Burnett, and they fired him, and they brought in Paul Maurice, and of course they went on to win the cup. But Joel Quenneville, if you don't know, Joel Quenneville was part of the Chicago Blackhawks, won three Stanley Cups with them. One of the best coaches to ever coach hockey. However, he was part of a scandal for Kyle Beach. There was a sexual assault happening with the video coach Brad Aldridge and Kyle Beach. Kyle Beach was a Black Ace player, kind of like in the fringes, sitting a lot in the press box. But there was some sexual assault happening with Kyle Beach, and then comes out later that happened. Stan Bowman gets fired, and Joel Quenneville both gets fired as well, because of the negligence of not taking care of the problem, and supposedly they're aware of it as well. Chicago ended up settling with Kyle Beach, NDA and everything, so everything's quiet. So that's kind of how that happened, unfortunately, because now we're seeing Stan Bowman as the president or GM of the Oilers. I think it's GM of the Oilers. And now you're seeing Joel Quenneville being linked to teams as well. So I'd be, as a Red Wings fan, I'd be disappointed. I was a little disappointed when they brought in Patrick Kane. Mind you, it is Patrick Kane. He's playing really well. He was playing really well last year, and he's not doing great this year, but he has sexual assault charges against him, or had at one point. So when you have guys like that, I understand the intensity, and you want to bring in like a good coach, and I understand that, but I just don't want to give up on culture, because I don't want to be like, hey, have a bad culture because someone sets a precedent and everything and just focuses on winning. And I get winning is important. I just don't know if the time is to bring Joel. I don't know if I want to bring Joel Quenneville in. I just don't think it's the right move. I think it feels too soon. I don't know what he's done to try to recoup and be better, besides being out of the limelight for a while. I don't know, but let me know what your thoughts are on Joel Quenneville, or Detroit Red Wings bringing in Joel Quenneville. So, and again, Lalonde, it's kind of your 1-1-1. You're literally 500. You've gotten 3 out of 6 points, which isn't good enough. So I don't know. We'll see. Another one is the Penguins organization does not want to hold Mike Sullivan accountable for their performance. So he's saying what they're starting to say is the organization is saying, hey, no, the players, Mike Sullivan is not the problem. It is because Mike Sullivan can rally Sidney Crosby, and Sidney Crosby is one of the GOATs, right? And they're saying it is the players. They have some good players. They have Bryan Rust, right? Rickard Rakell. You have Evgeny Malkin, who was starting super hot at the start of the year. Sidney Crosby, right? Around a point per game player as always. Erik Karlsson, Chris Letang. That's just 6 players I just named that are all very good players, and probably, arguably, besides maybe Rakell and Rust, are going to be in the Hall of Fame. Gino, Sid, Karlsson, and Letang, absolutely. I almost guarantee those 4. And then Rakell and Rust, debatable. Maybe Bryan Rust. I don't think Rickard Rakell. But to me, I think Mike Sullivan is going to be a good coach. He's going to be the 4 Nations coach for the United States as well. So I think that's kind of, they're trying to help him save some face there. And plus, they also have him on a longer contract. I think they have him it's this year and next year. So the Pens are like, well, fuck that. We don't want to pay him for 2 coaches. That's stupid. Mike Sullivan's a great coach. Why would we trade him? Or why would we get rid of him? So I'm curious on what that will happen. At one point, there was a possibility that you can trade coaches, which I think was crazy. I wonder if you can do something like that still. I wonder if that's still in the CBA or not. So, and also if he does get fired, supposedly, there's an article from the Athletic that says, don't be surprised if the Rangers will do, quote, everything in their power to get Mike Sullivan if he was fired. I mean, imagine bringing in JT Miller and then you bring in Mike Sullivan as well. I think that'd be great. That'd be a great deal right there. So we'll see. What are your thoughts on the Rangers picking up Mike Sullivan as well? So I think he'd be a good fit. I mean, they definitely need a shakeup, and that would definitely be a shakeup. So Maple Leafs have been talking about John extension talks with John Tavares, and he isn't interested in going to free agency, which is a good thing. because that means take a discount. This guy's making $11 million. And mind you, he's Mr. Consistent. And that is one thing that you can't say about most players, but John Tavares is like good for 82 every year. 82 points every year. He's pretty much good for it. So he's currently making $11 million. Again, no trade clause. He's got 21 points in 22 games. Again, right on the money, dude. I mean, the guy had I lied. I thought it was a point per game. Last year he had 65 points in 80 games, 29 goals. I mean, that's still pretty good numbers. Again, he's looking better even now in 22, 23 at 80 points. You know, like there's the track record. He is slowing down a little bit. Again, he's never been like a super fast player in the first place, but he's super intelligent as well. And so if you want to, mind you, this is where Toronto Maple Leafs have to be like, listen, we want to keep you, but we need to pay Mitch Marner. Who Mitch Marner, I think, will end up getting $12.5 million over 8 years. I think that, or no. Willie got 11.5. No, I do believe it. I think that might be, it might be 12 or 12.5 million for Mitch Marner if they end up signing him. So you're giving Mitch Marner $1.5 million raise. You don't want to go too crazy high, right? Austin Matthews is already making 13.25. And 13. I literally just had, let me pull up the Leafs. I just had Leafs up too. We were looking at John Tavares. You had so you have, and you just signed William Nylander to 8 years, $11.5 million. Yep. Austin Matthews making 13.25. Tavares is making 11. Mitch Marner is making just under 11. It would be so good. So this is where you got to be like, hey, you two are homeboys. You guys are from this town. You guys have made a pardon my French, a mare type of amount of money. John, I think if he wants to be, I think what you do is you get him for, I think $7 million for 2 years is too much. I think what you can do is you can get him for 5 for 4 years. I think that's because he's going to become a third line center. And he's still good in the front of the net. And he's still a very intelligent player. He's still very capable. So what you do is you say, hey, man, we don't want to pay you a ton right now because even though the cap's going up, we don't want to pay you a ton because we want to be able to bring in good guys. We need to be able to pay Mitch Marner and pay these young guys. We want to be able to bring in good UFAs for you as well. So we need you to take a discount. And we saw Anze Kopitar sign for $7 million for 2 years. So I think that's kind of where I think the realm is. That's $7 million. I think you do Tavares, you can get 2 years, $7 million, $14 million total, right? If you sign for 3 years, we'll do it for $6 million. That's $18 million. And then if you do 4 years, $5 million, 20 years, $20 million. So every year you get up every year you add, we'll add $3 million to it total. So I think that's reasonable to me. But let me know what your thoughts are on Tavares. I think $5 million for 4 years. It's a long time. Toronto has the money. That's why I'm not worried about it. You're more about where you want to keep that cap hit down. So if you can give her $5 million for 4 years, I think they would sing the fucking praises of that. Because mind you, once he's gone, so the last year of his contract, if we did 4 years, is the last year of Austin Matthews' new contract, where you're gonna have to give him a pay raise. You're gonna be paying him 15 to 16, probably $16 million at that point for Austin Matthews. He'll be 31. You get $16 million for probably 5 years. Now you have his John Tavares' cap hit drops off completely, and you're good. You're set. So that makes a ton of sense. Also, Domi's up that year too. Like you're gonna save a ton of money. I think that would make a ton of sense. But let me know what your thoughts are on John Tavares making $5 million for 4 years, $6 million for 3 years, or $7 million for 2. Of course, move on to the next piece of news. Kako. His name is, of course. And then Mike Matheson is looking to be traded from the Montreal Canadiens. And how is Mike Matheson doing, by the way? I hear good things. I don't watch a lot of Montreal games, but I've been hearing good things about Mike Matheson. I said that right? Mike Matheson? Yeah, Mike Matheson. Oh my goodness. He was drafted in 2012. 14 points, 22 games as a right side or shoot slap, but he's a right side D. Currently, so is he? Oh, he's on a Florida Panthers deal right now. That's so funny. Looks like he's got a modified no trade clause for 18 no trade clause. So, he's doing well. I mean, that's interesting for him. I'd be curious. I mean, that's some good veteran leadership. And mind you, if he's making only 4.875, so you have Montreal retain half of that for this year and next year, kind of similar to what Toronto did with Jake McCabe. With Jake McCabe, they gave over a first. I think it was a first and a second, and they got Jake McCabe half retained. So he was making 4. He was now 4.5. Then he was making 2 for that year at trade deadline plus the next year. So that was a very smart move by Kyle Dubas there. So let me know what your thoughts are on that, because I'd be really curious. We do have a signing. Where is it at? We had, of course, we had the I covered the Avalanche trade. Scott Wedgwood to the Avalanche for Justus Annunen and a 6th-round pick. So, and then just to go back on the Rangers trade, I just saw JT Miller they tried to acquire him in the past. Canucks also wanted Braden Schneider in the trade, and I don't think they're going to give him up still. So, trade rumors. We got Taylor Hall as a prime trade candidate, which makes sense because Taylor Hall he hasn't been performing as well. I think he wants to be there long term, and I think either Blackhawks will be like, "Yo, dude, no, I think we can get a pick for you instead." He's currently making $6 million, and he's 33 years old. I don't know if they want him. They already have a designated old guy, Nick Foligno, and the thing is Taylor Hall's making. He's at 10 points in 23 games. It'd be one thing if he was playing really well. And Chicago's not playing well at all in general, besides Connor Bedard, who's practically a point. Again, he's like 1 under a point per game. But to me, you'd rather get the picks. I think Taylor Hall might if you keep half of Taylor Hall's, you might be able to get a 2nd-round pick for him. You package that with a guy like Jason Dickinson, or a Ryan. Let's say you retain a half of Ryan Donato and half of Taylor Hall, and you get a 1st-round pick from it. Like that may be something right there. And they already have 2 1st-round picks right now. So I'd be really curious on who they end up, what ends up happening with that. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. If you should trade it or not. Of course, we saw the trade with the Avalanche, of course, picking up. Why am I already thinking of say his name? I just had it. Goodness gracious. Wedgwood. I almost said like Lockwood. Silly me. But there were some talks about Dan Vladar, Mackenzie Blackwood, and John Gibson. Of course, John Gibson. Any goalie talks. If anyone needs a goalie, John Gibson is suddenly in the picture again. Avalanche definitely peaked in on them as well. So I'm curious on what's going to happen with that. So we're going to do a quick break. Get a couple ads in here, and then we'll jump back into a couple more trade rumors. And yeah, I'm excited, man. I love trade rumors. It's so exciting because it's like, oh, what's going to happen? So stay tuned. The 24-25 NHL season still has that new car smell, and the action is heating up at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started at DraftKings Sportsbook. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. And of course, if you're listening to this, you're probably a Red Wings fan. You can definitely bet the puck line, the total, the money line, how many goals are going to be scored, over or under. Example is most of them are coming up is at like 6. So you can be like over 6 goals or under 6 goals. I mean, you can get all the action at Sportsbook. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers. Get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in New York. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit cpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive award. Bonus bet expires 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/. You know what that sound is. That's the sound of ice skates skating on the ice at your favorite team's hockey game. There's nothing like the excitement of being at a game, the crowd, the energy, the roar, the chants, the songs. It's just so much to it. And the best way you're going to be able to find an amazing seat and an amazing game is going to be at Game Time. Game Time also has this new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff and shows you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste your time searching through thousands of tickets. And my wife and I were actually end up going to a Detroit Red Wings game on December 2nd, I believe it is. That's one that we're looking at, and talk about a super deal. And you can actually find any concert tickets there. You can do comedy. There's so many different options there. They also have curated deals to make it easier to find the best deals on great seats. And also you can see the view of your seat before you buy. You have a lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection as well. One thing I really enjoy about it is the all-in pricing. Toggle this feature to show the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. So you can also get a panoramic, again, talking about your view, it's a panoramic view. You can see the sea, not just like we're looking at the stage. You get the full panoramic view. And they also have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And so take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Game time it is. We're now jumping into some trade rumors, talking about Bryan Rust. I know that was actually a player that I think the Red Wings looked into. Currently, he has a full no trade clause, which I think is interesting, or no move clause. So this is kind of the thought process of what happens. So he's got, problem is that Bryan Rust makes $5.1 million per year. And you're like, okay, well, that's okay. It's only for 1 year, right? It's like, no, it's 2 years. No, is it 3 years? No, it's not 3 years. 4 years. Bryan Rust is signed till he's 36. He's 32 now. And so you have a guy who, again, right winger, older player, $5.1 million. Again, the $5.1 million is not the issue. The issue is that he makes it for the next couple of years. So to me, and he has 12 points in 19 games. So again, he can play well. He can kind of play depth. So if, let's say something I think would be great. Let's just say, I don't know if it'd be a roster player, but like if, let's say, I don't know, Penguins aren't going to retain because they want to be better. But to me, if people are looking at Bryan Rust, I think the conversation you have with Bryan Rust, if you're Kyle Dubas, you say, listen, man, you have a no movement clause this year. And we're looking to trade you eventually. If not this year, next year. So this year we can't do it without your permission. But we would like to put your services out there for people to take on if they want to pay the price this year. Because I think because Penguins want to get better. And if not, the Penguins we're gonna have to trade you after July 1st. And you have no trade protection. So here's the conversation we're gonna have. Give us 3 to 5 teams that you'd be willing to be traded to. So that way you get to decide where you get to go next. And you also get to go to someone who wants you, as opposed to just dumping your contract off to someone who just needs bodies. I think the conversation is like, let's say Chicago. Again, maybe not Chicago. I was thinking like a veteran. Like they want people that are going to be here long term that are veterans. I'm thinking like a Tyler Bertuzzi. But I think Bryan wants an opportunity at a cup, right? So let's say it's like a Florida or something like that. I don't know, someone like that. And they can take back a player, of course. They can retain maybe they retain $1 million or something like that for the next couple of years. That way it becomes a first round pick. Like there's opportunities here. So I think that I think Bryan Rust can be almost a point per game player. I think he's just not playing on a great, very inspired. No, it's not that's not a great Penguins team. It's not a very inspired team. And they're just older too, right? So I think that'd be a really interesting one in that case. This comes from David Pagnotta as well. So also looks like the Penguins are listening to calls on Rickard, Rakell, and Michael Bunting, which is, that's kind of huge, right? If you're looking at someone like Michael Bunting, who does have a 10-team trade clause just this year, he makes $4.5 million. Carolina was willing to trade him currently has 10 points in 25 games. I mean, a great third line guy. I mean, he's like is in the equivalent of, I mean, he's only 6 foot though. He plays bigger than he is. But he's played well. He played well with Sidney Crosby. He played well last year with Sidney Crosby, 19 points in 21 games. He can play with Austin Matthews. He had 63 points in 79 games and 49 points in 82 games. Again, kind of went out of favor there. Ends up signing with Carolina Hurricanes, and that does not work out too well. 36 points in 60 games. But, I mean, he's definitely an effective player. And I'm curious on what would happen there, because I'm like, ooh, like that could be a guy. That could be a guy again. You don't only you have him for this year, and you have him for next year too, which is huge, right? And that helps that helps Penguins, because now they don't have to worry about next year. And they free up some cap for next year, and then they also offload contracts. So like it just kind of works out. It's kind of a win-win in that case. Again, we just talked about Jacob McCabe coming from Chicago to Toronto, so that makes sense in that case. And then going to Rickard Rakell again, you're like, man, like, I mean, $5 million, that's not too bad, right? He's an 18 no trade list for the next 4 years, so basically one team in Canada, basically. And so you have $5 million. Like, $5 million isn't bad for a center. I mean, that's not bad at all. 31 is a little old. $5 million for 1 year, right? No, for 2 years. No, 3 years. 4 years for him. Another 4-year contract for Bryan Rust again, or Rickard Rakell, who was, I think he was a it was the Brian Burke era, right? It was the Rutherford era. Rutherford before he went to the Vancouver Canucks. So that was before, and they kind of leave him with all these big contracts, and I'm kind of like, not great. Not great. So I'd be curious on how Rickard, who was interested in Rickard Rakell, 15 points, 26 games. So similar to a Bryan Rust, right? 12 points in 19 games, similar production, about around 0.6. So I think that'd be interesting. I mean, who wants to Rickard Rakell? I don't know what his production was in previous years. All I remember him being is on Anaheim, but he's never been a huge point getter either, though. I mean, at the start of Anaheim, he kind of was. In his third and fourth year, 51 points, 69 points. I mean, that's like pretty good production. Looks like he has quite a bit of injury history, though, unfortunately. His first year with the Penguins, he did play, or second year with the Penguins, with 82 games, 60 points during that time. Last year, only 37 points in 70 games, and this year, 15 points in 26. So he's at a 0.6 or 0.58. Clear this out real quick. 0.58 times 82. He's at like a 48-point pace, so better than last year, but still not good enough. I don't know why you want to trade for him. Maybe you squeeze like 55 points out of him, but I don't know if that's the guy, dude. Like, I just don't know if that's him. So is he him? Right? So let me know what your thoughts are on who would trade for Bryan Rust and Rickard Rakell. I mean, again, there's some value there and some veteran leadership. Maybe like a San Jose does it. Maybe I'm trying to think. Columbus could do it, because then you have guys there, right, that have played with excellence, right, and so you can mentor these young guys. Again, I'm talking about like a Chicago. Honestly, I could see something crazy like Dallas unlocking like Bryan Rust, like just I think something stupid like that. A guy that's solidified and set for a couple of years too. I'm definitely curious on that. So. Moving on to the next team, we're going to Montreal, and you know who Montreal? There is a couple people. There's someone that people are inquiring about. Well, not that they've inquired yet, but there is Friedman is asking about the Penguins again. We were just talking about the Penguins and Montreal. It is not Sidney Crosby, because I know you guys are thinking it. Sidney Crosby's favorite team growing up was the Montreal Canadiens. I hear you, but no, it is not him. It is actually Kirby Dach, who had, again, talk about injury history. But mind you, he's 23 years old. He's a right shot center, making $3.3 million. Young player. And I think there's a big price. Actually, I'm curious. Kirby Dach trade, because it was a big price that they paid from Chicago. I think it was a first round pick. I'm pretty sure, because it was like, yeah. So there was he was drafted in Chicago, and then what ended up happening, it was something crazy. Like, so there's actually two trades. So Montreal actually sends Romanoff and the 98th overall pick to the Islanders for the 13th overall pick in the first round. When they take then Montreal takes that 13th overall pick and a 66th overall pick for Kirby Dach. So that's a big price to pay for Kirby Dach. Mind you, he was a 3rd overall pick at one point, right, for Chicago. And he's shown flashes of being really good. Flashes, mind you. So he had 23 points in his rookie year in 64 games. This is all right. Then he had 10 points in 18 games. Injured, though. 26 points in 70 games. Again, come back from injury. Again, just not fully there. In his first year in Montreal, 38 points, 58 games. I mean, good production, but again, the injury history. Injured for all last year for 2 years. I mean, you're not getting a first-round pick back for him. He's got 8 points in 24 games right now. Definitely not getting a first-round pick for him. But I think what you can do is you could say, okay, not a first-round pick, but let's say Penguins are like, yo, we'll give you a second. Let's say it's just a second-round pick, which is probably higher than they want to pay. But I think it's funny. I'm thinking about like Ty Dellandrea, who was just traded from the Dallas Stars. A first-round pick, by the way. A late first-round pick, but a first-round pick nonetheless. Was traded to the San Jose Sharks for a 4th-round pick. And I'm like, man, that does not seem like a lot. Right? But there's some players like Nils Lundqvist. Not Lundqvist. I'm talking about the guy from Dallas. He was traded from the New York Rangers to the Dallas Stars. I want to say it's Neil Lundqvist. Lundqvist? I swear I'm right there. Yeah, Niels Lundqvist. He was a 1st-round pick, and Dallas traded a 1st-round pick for him and sent it to the Rangers. I don't know if you're going to get a 1st-round pick for Kirby Dach, but again, you paid this big price for him. You trade out Romanov, you make that trade, and then you trade out, you get a 13th overall pick plus another pick, a 3rd-round pick. So I'm kind of like, do you trade it? Like, does that make sense? Or do you just like say, hey, I think we're kind of done. I think we're done. He could be good. He might not be. I think a 3rd or a 2nd-round pick would be a good. I think a 2nd-round pick would be a good price to pay. I'd say. I don't know if it's it's like fair. I think it's fair. Because like you're not getting that what you thought out of him, but we'll see. I don't know what your thoughts are on what the trade value of Kirby Dach is to the Penguins. I think that would kind of make sense, though. Also, it looks like David Staples is talking about the Oilers. They definitely look to shore up some defensive people. And they're looking at some people like Rasmus Ristolainen. We'll start with Ben Chariot because I'm very familiar with him because I'm a Red Wings fan. Yay! And Chariot is sometimes the bane of my existence on this Red Wings team because he's very very frustrating. Let's start with we'll start with Rasmus Ristolainen. Up now, 7 points in 25 games as a defenseman, 30 years old. He's a big dude, right? And he's put up as high as he's back in the Buffalo Sabres. He had 58 points in 79 games back in 16-17, which is a long time ago at this point. A bit of injury history you can see several times. And back in his second year with the Flyers, 20 points, 74 games. Again, not a huge producer is the issue. But again, maybe you're looking for more of that shutdown role. Kind of what you're looking maybe for with a Ben Chariot. Ben Chariot's not going to put up a ton of points. He makes a lot of mistakes though, but he does. The thing is, Chariot actually has. I'm saying this wrong. Ben Chariot is he plays that playoff style, which is one of the things that took him all the way to the Stanley Cup finals with Montreal. Only 3 points in 24 games. 3 points? You have 3 points? Goodness gracious, dude. I mean, you've never been a huge point getter. I get it. I mean, you're playing a tough guy. With the Red Wings last year, you've had 20 points in 77 games. But still, like, that's it? I mean, clearly he's highly valued. We know that because he was paid a ton of money by Steve Yzerman. I'm surprised he got him. 4.75 for him, which isn't that's not too terrible for 4 years. Mind you, if the Oilers trade for him, he'd be a good like second pair, third pair D. Yeah, he plays a tough game. I think Chariot would be a good third pair. And I think he is a good third pair. He's just not there anymore. Like he's not like he's a good third pair defenseman. He's not a good second pair. Like he's not the skills set to be a second pair defenseman just aren't there, and that's okay because you need guys that can do those types of things. I just don't think. Speaking from seeing Ben Chariot a ton of times, I just don't know if he is him because it just doesn't make sense for me. Like I don't know how much I would trade for him, but it's not that much. So, and the last one is recently traded, meaning this past summer. Nick Jenson. Oh, by the way, Chariot also has this year and next year. So let's say that Red Wings retain, let's say it's half. Maybe you get a first round pick back for that, or they retain something. That could be something that happens there. Chariot. And similar to Chariot, you have Nick Jenson, 34 years old. He is a little bit older. I think I might actually take the bet on, Nick Jenson does have 9 points, 24 games as a third pair right D right now. And he's right D and he shoots right as well. So Nick Jenson may come as a little bit higher appeal at that point. And Nick Jenson, I believe, he's put up better points, similar point totals to Chariot. So that's a pretty good comparable in that sense. So these guys are tough. I think Nick Jenson actually won a Stanley Cup with the Washington Capitals. He did. No, he just missed it. Because in did he? No. Yeah, no, he didn't. Okay, my bad. Whew, I got that wrong. So Capitals traded for him in 18-19, and the Capitals won in 17-18. So my apologies. He just missed that. So not a ton of playoffs. Only made the playoffs 5 times. So and only played 1 game this past year. So I think that'd be a good. I mean, again, not playing a huge price, but again, if you can get the other team to retain, I think that's even better. I think Nick Jenson looks a little bit more appealing than Chariot, but I don't think that there's a ton of depth when it comes to Ottawa Senators. So I think they would rather keep, unless it's a big price. Like you rather pay. Like Nick Jenson is better because he's a little bit better because right-handed defenseman. He's playing a little bit better. Again, you have that extra year. And Chariot's a little bit younger, plays on the left side, and so. He can't play the right side, but he plays left side mostly. And so he's younger. Yes, similar contract, so you can still retain him, but he's a little more expensive. So I would rather trade a second for Chariot than a first for Jenson. Just to give you an idea. Like if Oilers are doing something like that, like that's the equivalent, right? Like I'd rather pay less for Chariot for the product that I'm gonna get than even if Jenson's a little bit better because I just don't think he's gonna be worth the first round pick, which you can use in a different situation. To get someone else. Nils Hoglander, another player that I really like. I'm a big fan of. I don't know why. I've always liked him. Let's pull him up real quick because I just think he's a neat dude. I think I've seen him play. I think he's just like he's so freaking. He feels fast. He's just. I just want him. Oh, he's signed. Oh, dang, he's signed for a long time. He's signed till 2028. He makes $1.1 million right now, but every year after that, he makes $3 million for 3 years, $3 million per year for 3 years after that. Left wing, shoots left. Currently has 5 points in 23 games. He's playing a lot of minutes, just not working out. So it looks like the Capitals, Penguins, and Blue Jackets have all explored picking him up. I think for the Penguins and Blue Jackets, absolutely, that's a good, cheap, young guy you can take a flyer on. Capitals. Similar, but I think I don't think he'll play the same Capitals hockey that I think you would want him to play. I think it's good for the Penguins and good for the Jackets for sure. Because mind you, to have something that you can take back or like retain some salary. I think that'd be. Ooh, what if you send out a Rickard Rakell, or let's say it's Rickard Rakell or Bryan Russ to Vancouver. Oh, and then you bring your veteran back in, right? Because you're trading out. You're bringing you already have JT Miller. You have a veteran there, and like I said, Rust or Rakell. That would make a ton of sense. Rakell gets moved back to the west side of the continent. Again, Penguins. That'd be good for the Penguins. Blue Jackets. I don't know who they have a trade that you'd want. Maybe Ivan Provorov. That could be an option too, but I don't know. Like if you took back Nils Hoglander and a third for Provorov, would you do that? If you want Provorov straight up, Nils and a third. If you want him in half, it's a second and it's a sec. Oh, it's a first. It's a second, a third, and Nils Hoglander. If not, it's just a straight up first ish. Another trade. So let me know your thoughts on where you think Nils Hogland should go, or if we should stick with Vancouver. Moving on to the Preds, who are just having a tough time right now. Mind you, they traded this past year. This past summer, they trade out their prospect goalie, Askarov, to the San Jose Sharks, and then in a trade, they trade out Scott Wedgwood, and they get back a prospect goalie. I mean, he has been playing some NHL minutes, but I think Askarov may be a better long-term plan. We'll see. But now you have there are talks about Dan Rosen saying that Gus Nyquist could be a trade candidate for the Nashville Predators. And let's see how he's doing, because I know he's 34, I believe, because he's a similar age to me. Pretty sure he's 35, a little older than me. $3.185 million per year. 10 points in 25 games. Again, is that a reflection on Predators, or is that a reflection on him? But last year broke out like crazy, 75 points in 81 games with his first season with Nashville. That's nuts. That's so good. I think that's definitely. I mean, he's definitely gonna be traded, in my opinion. He's a 35-year-old. Again, Nashville can retain half. I don't know if they can retain half, because I don't know if they have the spots left. That's something they can definitely. Do they have the spots left? Ooh, the drama. Do they have spots? Because that'd be super interesting. I don't know if they have. Oh, I can scroll down to the bottom. Sorry, I'm using Puckpedia, by the way. If you don't use Puckpedia, it is phenomenal. Retained. They can do it because they retained on Ryan. Oh, they have 2 spots. They bought out Duchesne, so that's fine, which is crazy. They're paying $5.5 million to Matt Duchesne right now, and he's killing it on the Stars. I think he's leading the Stars in points right now. Kyle Turris, that buyout, still $2 million in the next 4 years. Jesus. You have you're retaining on Ekholm, and you were retaining on Johansson, but that got negated because of contract termination. So you have 2 slots left. So yeah, they can absolutely do something with that. So I think that's something that you would absolutely retain on that, because that makes a ton of sense. So and then lastly, we have the Calgary Flames are looking for a top 6 center that can be there for at least 3 to 5 years. So, and that's from Darren Dreger. I mean, Calgary's looking phenomenal right now. They're doing super well in the standings. So if I go to the NHL standings right now, pulling that up, because I think they're second behind Vegas, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to the wild card. Go to the Western Conference. We have they're in the wild card, 28 points in 25 games. They're right in the wild card slot with the Edmonton Oilers at 28-24. They were in the Pacific, but again, Vancouver is now pulled ahead by a point. And again, the Los Angeles Kings have been doing very well. Six wins and 6 and 4 in the last 10. Calgary Flames are 5-4-1 in their last 10, so they're on a 4-game losing scale, which is tough. But it is what it is. So they're looking to make. Oh, I apologize. Shore up some center depth, which I think, because you have guys. If you're looking at the center depth right now, you're looking at a Nazem Kadri, who is older. You have Backlund, who is old. you have Kadri is 34, and he has 5 years left on his contract. You have Backlund, who's 35, but 2 years left on his contract this year, next year. Yeah, and you have Connor Zary, he's 23. You have Rooney. I don't even know his first name. I was Al Rooney, Kevin Rooney. So he's 31 as well. So you need to bring a center in here to be able to do something with that. I mean, this is where I think, I don't know if you're going to find a top 6 center though. Like, how do you find, they're just not available very often. Let's actually use Puckpedia, and we'll end on this, by the way. We'll go to scouting reports. We're going to look at I'll go to player dashboard. So again, if you haven't used Puckpedia, it's phenomenal. We're going to go to the right side. We're going to look up 2025 unrestricted free agents. So, well, because most likely those are guys that are going to be hitting the market and everything. So, you got like Will Cooley, Alex Lafreniere of LA. You have like Fabian Zetterlund. He's not going to be top 6. I don't know. If we got let's go points per game for these guys. Yeah, Marco Rossi. No, they're going to extend him for sure. Dmitry Voronkov. No, they'll extend him as well. Let's go just forwards. And it's not let me doing that. It's all right. Like, so there's not a ton there. Gabe Velarde, maybe. Like, Matthew Nyes, they're going to extend him. Like, I just don't think it's going to happen. It doesn't make sense to me. Actually, we'll go to 2025 unrestricted free agents because that'll be at the end of this year. For centers, let's go just straight centers. Nope, that's not it. Inquiry. Nope, I apologize. I did that wrong. I apologize. Okay, we're going to just centers. I apologize. This is a little chaotic. So just doing centers, you had not Rantanen. You had Mika Rantanen. So as a second line center right there, which would be, I think they would kill for him, right? You have Luke Cunnin, Alex Nylander. I mean, nothing too crazy here, right? Like, am I crazy? Yeah, Rantanen, Matt Duchene. I think that's not a long-term one right there. Granlund's not long-term. He's 32. Sam Bennett's no. John Tavares, no. Like, Brock Nelson, no. Ryan Donato, maybe, but like, he's 28. It's not like he's going to be there for a long, long time. Pew Suter, like Jack Roslovic. I mean, Frank Vetrano, I guess, like Jake Evans, like Lars Eller. Like, none of these guys are like young party that group that you wanted to keep part of. Like, maybe Mason Appleton, maybe. Like, I don't know. There's nothing like convinces me that like they'd have to trade for someone and it's hard to trade. Like, you're not gonna be like, yo, Columbus, can I get your top 6 center? Hey, Chicago, you got someone besides Bedard? Like, it's hard to find top 6 centers that are young enough that'll be around for at least 3 to 5 years, right? Like, I mean, you're not gonna trade for a 24-year-old. Like, they're not gonna trade you to 24-year-old who's gonna be good for so you can have him until he's like 27 to 30. Like, it doesn't make sense. So let me know what your thoughts are on this. So all these trade rumors and everything. I had a ton of fun doing this. This is just like fun to just rip through a bunch of information. So let me know what your thoughts are. I appreciate it. Hit like, subscribe, put your favorite emoji down in the comment box, and check me out on Spotify and Apple Music. And appreciate you. Love you. Let me know what you want to hear about. Let me know what you want me to talk about. Goodness gracious, I need some water. All right. Love you. Catch you next one. Bye.